Good morning to everyone here. Today we will begin slot 2, session 4, piano. And last class we talked about, we did the piece, we did the Twinkle Twinkle. Hopefully you guys have practiced that. I mean, you can practice it whenever you want. The recordings have been uploaded on YouTube. You can check them out and you can practice. And yes, the left hand was a bit hard for that piece, but after practice it will be easier. And we also did a few scales. We did C major, we did F major, we did starting on C, we did F major. So we did these scales last class as well. And you can practice them. They'll be quite helpful when we do more pieces. Today we'll be starting off with another simple one, a common one, Happy Birthday. And it's quite simple. It's quite yes, so it's not that hard, but the left hand again will be a bit challenging. Um, Today we will start off with the right hand part. The right hand is fairly easy. It's very simple. It's much shorter than Twinkle Twinkle, and the left hand is also a bit simpler than the previous piece, but it won't be that easy. This disclaimer. But I'll explain it properly, and you can also watch the recordings. And the more you practice, the better you will get, and you'll be really able to play this very well after practice. So this I have transposed the key. Usually this you play it in C major. I've transposed the key to G major, starting on G. We've covered this key before, so I've made it into G major just because we've we've talked about the G major scale. So that's in G major, which I'll be playing. And I'll just write the notes here as well, in case, I mean, it's always good to have the notes written. So, let's take the right hand part. Right hand section will be this way. So, right hand. You have G, G, A. G, D, C. So the right hand is quite simple. This entire thing obviously repeats twice. So this entire thing you repeat it twice. Usually you repeat this twice, and so this is the right hand section. G, G, A, G, C, B, G, G, A, G, D, C. So, and then the next section is G, 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 E, C, B, A, F, F, E, C, D, C. So this will cover properly, and this won't be much of an issue at all. So let me just write the name. The name of the piece. And so this piece is quite easy. The left one is a bit tricky, but not as much as last time. I've made it simpler, but it's still tricky. And this is the right hand part, which I'll be showing how to play today. If possible, we'll be doing the left hand for this, the first part today as well, if possible, if time permits. So the right hand part, let me show you the first finger. We start from middle C. sorry, not middle C, middle section. So G here. You can start off anywhere you want, but this is better. So we start off G, G again, A, G, C, B. And it's not in this rhythm. It's not, you have to play it with the correct rhythm. So, which I'll be talking about after I show you how to play this with one finger, all the notes. So first part, G, G, A, G, C, B, then G, G, A, G, D, C, and then you go all the way to an octave, G, G, to an octave, G, B, C, B, A, then you go to an F here. You might notice that one thing, which I'll be covering later. Let's just do this for now. F, F, E, C, D, C. So F, F, E, C, D, C. That's the last section. And then this repeats twice the entire thing. So again, G, G, A, G, C, B, G, G, A, G, D, C, G, 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 E, C, B, A. We go to the F, 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 E, C, D, C, and ends on a C. So this is what happens. This is the entire piece. You play this twice, and then you play with the left hand as well. Left hand's a bit tricky. We'll be covering that as well. You might notice that this, if you've been paying attention, G major. This is in G major. This piece, and in G major we know that there is one sharp, F sharp. But I played at the end an F natural. So I played F, F, E, C, D, C. But in G major, there's an F sharp. There's no F in the scale of G major. That's quite interesting. We'll be covering more of this later on, and I'll be explaining why. And this is what you call an accidental. So I'll be covering more about this later on as well. So that's the right hand part, quite simple, repeat it twice. Now, obviously, if you have to use all 5 fingers, you'll have to get your finger pattern right. So you start off with your thumb on G, middle G, and you go G, G, index finger, then back to thumb, and then your fourth finger on C, and then your middle finger on B. And then now the next part, you start on G, 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 then index, A, G, and then again your fourth finger. I like to use my fourth finger here on D, and then now to C with the third finger. And now the next part, G, G. When I go to an octave, you can use your pinky. Yeah, pinky is the best for octaves. So G, and then you can use your middle finger for the E, then your thumb for the C. You can cross over with your middle finger and your index finger on B and A. So after C, you cross over and you play the B and then the A. So once again, G, G, then you go to the octave, the pinky, middle finger on E, thumb on C, then just cross over with your 2 fingers, B, A. Now you play your F. You can play it with the last finger, which is the best. Last finger on F, F, F. Then you can use your, let's say, your middle finger, or you can use your ring finger for E, and then your index finger for C, middle for D, and back to index for C. This is the finger pattern that you can use here. Once again, if I were to play this, G, G, A, G, ring finger, middle, G, G, A, G, ring again, D, middle, now G, G, you go all the way up to an octave on the G, G, middle, thumb, and now B and A, you turn, you switch your fingers, you cross over, and now your last finger on an F, and then a ring finger on E, index on C, middle on D, back to index on C. So to play this normally, it would be like that's how you would play it normally, but the rhythm is obviously off. We're playing everything for one beat, one, 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 one. But in the song, some of the notes are held longer than one beat, and some of them are held for a lesser duration of time, which I'll be playing with it right now. I'll be playing that right now with the proper rhythm as well. So if you could listen, you'll be able to play it properly. For this, the best way to understand this is just to listen, and then you'll be able to play it well. So it's like a pause, then you can go. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's like a skipping beat. It's like a waltzing rhythm is what we call it. So if I were to play it again, listen to the rhythm carefully and make sure get the rhythm in your head, and then you can play the notes. Once you know the notes, you just have to get the rhythm in. You know the finger pattern, just get the rhythm right. Pause. So that's the rhythm. So you go 1, 2. In the beginning, all the beginning of each, if you look here on the board, beginning of each phrase, you have like a double note, G, 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 F, F. So you have double notes and you have like short notes. This is like one beat and this is like half a beat. And then this extends, right? This is like one beat, half beat, extends, one beat, and then half a beat, and then just extend the A, and then back to G. So it goes something like it's like you like break the first part. It's not 1, 2. That's not it. It's like you divide between the first two G's. You divide the timing. So you don't let both the G's take one full beat like 1, 2. Instead, you like divide the timing like 3/4 and a quarter. So it's like 1, 2, 2. Like 1, 2, 1, 2. It's like a very short interval where you just divide the beat there. We'll be learning more about that as well. And this is the right hand part. Just play it one more time. That's the right hand section for happy birthday. And now the left hand section, I think, yeah, it's quite simple. So I'll move on to the left hand now. The left hand section is a bit tricky. We'll be probably doing the left hand for the first part, GG. This part, I've done two sections as you can see on the board. There are two sections here, and we'll be covering the left hand for the first part. Left hand is G major. So it's in the key of G major, one sharp, F sharp. So just to show you how it would sound, I would play it. That's the first section with 4 chords. This time you're not playing a moving bass. Not doing that, like how we did in Twinkle, Twinkle, Twinkle. Instead, we are playing full chords, like broken chords. So it would be like so that's how it would sound the first part. Now the left hand for that, let me show you. It's the first chord. Let me just write all the chords here. So for this part, the chord is G, B, D, For this part, the chord is F sharp, which has the sharp sign, C, D. Then again for this part, this G, B, D. And for this part, it is G, C, E. So this is the chord structure for the first section. We're playing like broken chords, we're not really playing moving bass, or we're not really playing full chords. We're playing broken. It's like broken. So I'll show how to play as well. So the first chord is G, B, D. G, B, D. You can use your fifth finger. I like using the fourth finger here, because later on we have the F sharp here. If you look at the next chord, the F sharp is on the next chord. So I like using my fourth finger on G, but you can in reality use either your fifth or your fourth. It doesn't really matter. You can, for namesake, it's best to use your fifth finger, because usually for chords that are like a fifth chords, like five separated by 5 notes, we have the pinky on the first and the thumb on the end usually. So it's better to use, just for practice, for starters, it's good to use 5 on G and not 4. So you can use your fifth finger on G, play the entire chord this time. So G, B, D. If you recognize this is the tonic chord of G major. G major, the scale of G major, and the tonic chord, exact same chord is here, G, B, D. So this G, B, D is your first chord, and play it as one chord. It's G is here, it's B is here, D is here. It's right below middle C and this entire thing. So G, B, D, one chord. Now the next chord is, if you look at the board, F sharp, C, D. So this G, B, D goes for G, G, A, G, but it doesn't start right until after G, G, because this is actually another feature which will come up in many other pieces as well, where the first 2 notes are excluded outside the sheet music. They are like they're like extra notes. So the actual melody accompaniment starts after these 2 notes. So if you remember this, when I played, I went. So the first 2 Gs, I didn't play anything with the left hand. I started with G, B, D when I played the A. So it went. So that's how it went. I didn't play anything for the first 2 Gs. So it would be more accurate to have this just for the A and G. And so same thing for this as well, A and G. So first A and G, G goes alone. Even here the G would go alone. G, G, and for AG, you have GBD. So GBD. And then for CB, the next part, you have F sharp CD. F sharp here is in G major, the only sharp in G major. F sharp is this, C is this, D is this. So F sharp here with the left hand, C here, D here. And so it would sound like something like this. So how do you play this? Well, you have your last finger on F sharp, pinky finger, and your index finger on C, and your thumb on D. So it would go pinky on F sharp once again, index on C, thumb on D, pinky, index, thumb. And this is how you play it. This is a second chord which goes along with CB. CB is this part. So if I were to play that part, from the beginning it would go. So you see that I'm like bringing this chord in. I'm not playing it as one full chord. That's not how it goes. I'm just sort of like extending the notes, like breaking them apart. So that we'll be learning after we learn the chords. So the second chord, which we just talked about, is F sharp, C, D. So play it as one chord right now, F sharp, C, D. So the first chord first now, G, B, D. Switch to F sharp, C, D. Get your pinky on F sharp and your index fingers already always on C, like this. So here to here. Just play it a few times so you get the hang of the switching. Once you've done this, we move on to the next chord. The next chord here is the same as the original chord, GBD, the tonic, or what we call the tonic is the main chord. So the tonic of G major, GBD, again repeats just as in the beginning. So GG here, once again, left out. AG goes with GBD, and then DC goes with GCE, which is another form of chord which I'll be talking about. GBD again repeats; it's the exact same chord, so you don't need to think much about this. After GBD and F sharp CD, come back to GBD. GBD, F sharp CD, come back to GBD. So GBD once again. So to play this once again, I would go GBD, F sharp CD, back to GBD. And to show you how it sounds, it would be, oops. That's where we've stopped. So it just repeats, the exact same tonic chord repeats. But for the last two notes, you have a different chord, which I'll come to right now. So once again, if I were to play it, it would go. We've stopped there. And GBD, F sharp CD, GBD. That's the order of the chords. Make sure you can use your pinky here, move the pinky to the F sharp, use your first finger on C, thumb on D, play this, then go back to G major key chord, GBD. The last one is GCE, which is on the board, GCE. So GCE goes with D and C. So D and C is this part. So the melody, right? So the DC, you have the chord, which is GCE. G here, C here, and E here. So if I were to play this G, C, E, I would get this. And what is the orientation of my fingers? Pinky on G, index finger on C, and thumb on E. Like this. It has one full chord. It may look similar to the tonic chord, which is G, B, D, which we learned. But now we move the index. Index is already on C, so we use that to press C, but we move the thumb over to E. So from here, we move to here. From here, we move over to here. So tonic chord here, this remains the same. We just move the top two notes from here to here. G, C, E. This is your last chord for the first section, and it goes with D, C. And how does that sound? Let's play this from beginning to see. So it sounds like it's finished. GCE. And if you notice something, GCE, we've covered a C major scale before. If you remember, C major scale started on C, and when C. So it started on C, and you had the C major scale, and the tonic chord, that is the key chord of C major, was C, E, G. This was the key chord, if you remember, C, E, G, containing these notes. And the last chord for this piece, not for the piece, for the first section of this piece that we played, is G, C, E. Now, if we compare the two chords for the tonic chord of C major and this chord, the tonic chord was C, E, G, and this chord is G, C, E. Exact same notes, but the order is different. This is C, E, G. If I start on an E, I get E, G, C. If
If I start on a G, I get GCE. So GCE is our chord which we finish the first section with. And this means that this chord is basically a C major chord, C, E, G, but it's just a different inversion of it. We call this the second inversion of C major. G, C, E is the chord that we are playing. C major chord is C, E, G, exact same notes. And if we shift the C major chord to the right, from starting on the E, we get E, G, C. We shift it again to the right, starting on G, with G, C, E. This is it's an inversion, second inversion is what we call of C major. So this chord is a second inversion of C major, G, C, E, and the first part would sound something like this. Once again, if I were to play. If I were to play with like the broken chords, that's how it would sound. That's how the first section would sound for the piece for Happy Birthday. First section would sound something like this with both the hands. And make sure you practice the left hand as well. It's a bit important since it gets. It doesn't get complicated. It's somewhat like this. Slightly simpler. I'm teaching how to play the broken chords later on. That requires some grasp of the finger movements, which I'll be showing as well in the next class. And we'll be continuing this piece as well. I'll be writing down the left-hand part of the second section as well. And the second section left hand will be written as well in the next class. Recording will be uploaded. And you can do the recording and you can feel free to ask doubts. And this was the first class. This was the first section of Happy Birthday. Hopefully you've understood it. Hopefully you know how to play it now, not the entire piece, just the first section. And you can practice the left hand and the right hand, practice your scales. G major, C major, F major, and then once you practice these, you get better at it. You'll be able to play much more easily. So, thank you for your attention. Thank you for attending this class, and hope you all have a good day or a good rest of the day. And thank you. Have a nice day. See you in the next class.